Welcome back to IntyCenter, everybody, for Whip Around Fidus and a whip around my sore throat and head cold, which is hopefully not the beginning of the David-19 endemic phase of Fidus. In any case, we start with a second inning double by Jose Ramirez. It's noteworthy because it's the only thing that prevented Amazing's J.R. Richard from tossing the first no-hitter of the season. Richard would face just 31 batters to give up just that one hit, walked three and struck out four in a dominant complete game shutout. Charlie Blackwell had three hits, Roy Campanella had two ribbies, and the Amazings won it 4-0. After a sac fly in the eighth brought them to within 4-3, Stone Temple's Seattle Pilots had a chance to steal a win in the ninth inning. The pinch hitting Kiki Kyler got a leadoff single to put the winning run at the plate, but George Wright hit into a double play and Pudge Rodriguez grounded out. And that was all she wrote as the Enhancers held on for a 4-3 lead. Ed Rao giveth and Ed Rao taketh away. Huck came on in the eighth inning and served up a game-tying solo homer to Ted Williams. But in the ninth inning, he tripled to drive in two runs, scored on a wild pitch. The Diamondbacks retake the lead at 5-2. They'd win by that score with Ryle working around a two-out walk to have a fairly drama-free ninth inning. How about Josh Gibson? He hits a homer in the first inning. Cy Young tosses 7 innings, giving up 2 runs on 7 hits. Bert Blyleven tries to give this one away. He gives up 3 runs in his 1 inning of work, but Joe Nathan worked the ninth to close it out and get the win for the Gales in November. 8 innings, 1 run allowed on 7 hits with 5 Ks and no walks. Yep, performance enhancers got degrominated. George Wright drove in a pair of runs, and Willie Mays had 3 hits. Stone Temple Seattle Pilots win it 3-1. Every city bandwagoners came out swinging as they attempted to avoid getting swept by Ciorak. Mickey Mantle and Joe Mauer each hit 2-run homers in the first inning. Lou Gehrig added a 3-run homer in the third, and it was 10-0 after 3. The bandwagoners chased 2 different pitchers in those first 3 innings. They go on to win it 11-8. Cynthia Vostenard, they find themselves in a familiar place, holding a lead late in the game. They were up 4-0 entering the 8th. Warren Spahn gave up a double to Paul Molitor and an RBI single to Hank Aaron. That cut the lead to 4-1. Dottie Hinson would go to Brian Wilson in the 9th. He'd retire the first 2 batters he faced, but a single from Vlad Guerrero was followed by a homer from Gabby Hartnett, bringing up Ernie Banks as the tying run. Banks sends it high, he sends it deep, and Joe DiMaggio goes up over the fence, pulls it back in, robs him of the game-tying homer, maybe the defensive play of the season in Fidus, seals the win for Cithy in perhaps the most dramatic fashion possible. Amazing scored a pair, 1 unearned, off Christy Mathewson in the first. Those were the only runs they'd get in that game, but Babe Ruth made that hold up. He goes 7, gives up 1 run on 6 hits. Francisco Rodriguez got the 6-out save, sending the side down in order twice. Gavy Gravith hit a 2-run homer in the 6th inning. He'd hit another homer, this time a solo shot, this time in the 12th inning, as the Orange Barrels needed extra innings to take down Ciorak in the series opener. They did it 5-4 in large part thanks to Kravitz and his 2 homers. The bandwagoners got 7 runs driven in by their 1 and 2 hitters, 4 from Kenny Lofton, 3 from Mickey Mantle. Clayton Kershaw tossed a complete game. He gave up 1 run on 7 hits, and the bandwagoners dominated the first game against the Pilots, taking it 10-1. That game saw Steve Carlton get chased in the 5th inning. He gave up 6 runs on 10 hits. Bullet Rogan and Pedro Martinez each made convincing arguments as the dominant pitcher of the day on the 13th. Rogan was more than up to the scary task of facing off with Old Hoss on Friday the 13th. Rogan tossed 7 scoreless innings. He gave up just 1 hit. That was a single to Barry Bonds in the 3rd inning, while walking 1 and striking out 6. Josh Gibson had 3 hits and 2 runs batted in. Gales of November punish a rare off night from Radbourne. They win 7-0. Meanwhile, Martinez, he goes 8 innings, gives up 1 run, allows just 2 hits. He strikes out 5, he walks a pair. Willie Mays homered twice, and the Pilots won it 6-1. And then, even with those 2, there was another argument to be made because there was the matchup of Koufax and Feller. Cleveland native Ed Delahunty hits a 2-run homer off Feller in the 3rd. Those were the only runs Feller would allow in 7 innings of work. Koufax takes a 2-1 lead into the 8th, but there he would give up RBI singles to Ty Cobb and Buster Posey. Nolan Ryan works the final 2 innings for amazings, and they take it 3-2. Now, Charlie Bender, he gave the Pilots exactly the kind of start they were dreaming about when they traded away Cleveland native Big Ed Delahunty to get him. He tossed a complete game shutout. He allowed just 4 hits from the overmatched bandwagoners. As for bandwagoner starter Oral Hershiser, he got knocked out in the 3rd inning, giving up 5 runs on 8 hits. The Pilots cruising that one 8-0. Despite dealing with a blister on his finger on his pitching hand that had him questionable for the start, Fernando Valenzuela talked his manager into making the start and gave the Demon Bags the kind of start that gave them the confidence to deal away Bender. He shut out Amazings, giving up just 5 hits in his complete game effort. Ken Griffey Jr. and Ketel Marte each drove in 3 runs. Delahunty had 2 doubles, representing Cleveland well, and the Diamondbacks cruised to an easy 12-0 win. And we'll end with a look at Dennis Eckersley wasting no time getting acclimated into the ways of the force with Sithy. Eckersley retires just 1 batter as he gave up 3 runs in a third of an inning and turned a 1-0 deficit into a 4-0 deficit. His team would end up falling in that series finale versus the Family Madrigal 4-1. That'll do it for this week on IntyCenter. We'll catch you next time for another whip around. Fiduce.